Hey there, Jake here from CVP. Would you believe that the FX6 is almost 4 years old now, and it's still as popular as it's ever been, being used across a massive range of different production types here in the UK. So in today's video, I want to talk about some of the reasons why it's still so popular, how it compares to some of the other options on the market now, and what we could see in Sony's highly anticipated update to it. Honestly, one of the biggest reasons why the FX6 is still so popular has to be the electronic variable ND system it has. This can be controlled in regular increments like a regular ND, or incredibly granularly, which makes it really fast and easy to control mid-shot using the dials on the side of the camera. It also has an auto ND mode, which will adjust the ND as you change between different scenes. You can dial in how this auto exposure works, and the exposure compensation in the menus. I like to combine this with zebras when shooting with the FX6 in run and gun scenarios. That way you can just focus on using aperture creatively instead of your exposure. I last used the Auto ND with the Sigma 28105 at Victoria's Festival, and for that type of scenario, it works incredibly well. For whatever camera Sony replaces the FX6 with, I think it would be great to see the updated ND system in the Burano, as the FX6s could run into some issues when using a polarizer, and the Burano system doesn't. Overall though, the FX6's built-in electronic ND is a crucial component as to why it's so successful, so we definitely need to see an improved version of it in the next camera. The sensor used in the FX6 has arguably now become one of the most used and renowned ones across the image creation industry, thanks to just how versatile it is. It's a 10.2 megapixel full-frame back-illuminated sensor that has excellent dynamic range performance and really good rolling shutter performance. Its colour is also much better than the previous generation of Sony cameras, but this is one aspect I think they could improve further with the next generation FX6. We've shot a bunch with the camera over the years, and while the image does take a bit more finessing than some others on the market, it does look great with some work. I've seen some truly beautiful work from people using the FX6. It also features a dual base ISO, which means you can easily switch between them on the fly, making it incredibly versatile across a large range of different shooting scenarios. This has made it incredibly popular for run and gun filmmakers, as you can really pump up the ISO and still get really good looking imagery. I think there are arguments for both keeping the sensor 4K or upgrading to a 6K sensor in the next FX6. However, I think a 6K sensor with the same low light performance and readout speed with the ability to shoot nice downsampled 4K in camera would be a great upgrade. An overall step up in image quality would be good to see, but the FX6 is already good, but it could be even better, especially if it handled highlights just that little bit better. The FX6, along with other modern cinema and mirrorless cameras, has changed the perception of autofocus across a pretty wide range of different moving image productions. The FX6's autofocus system in 2020 was one of the best on the market, and when it comes to video focus cameras, I think it's still up there, but there are some that are a touch better now. However, hybrid camera focus systems like the ones found in the Sony A9 III and Canon R1 and R5 II are definitely a step up in performance versus the FX6. In the follow-up to the FX6, I think it would be great to see an improved autofocus system, seeing as how good some of Sony's newer cameras are now. And a generational leap even above these would be amazing to see, especially now so many filmmakers and productions have grown to trust it. Times have changed, and the camera market has pretty much fully shifted over to people using native mirrorless mount lenses on their cameras, mainly due to the move over to autofocus being used more and more. Sony now offers a huge range of first-party lenses that perform really well for video and photography, and there is a large range of different third-party options so people can decide on what balance of character, performance, and price they want. Combine this with Sony releasing so many E-mount cameras now for so many different people, it makes E-mount lenses a great investment for rental houses and owners looking to grow with their kit. Being able to use your lenses all the way from Sony's entry-level mirrorless cameras all the way up their line to even their flagship Venice cameras is great, and Sony have done a really good job at saturating the market. It's also a very flexible mount, allowing for a huge range of lenses to be adapted onto it thanks to its short flange depth. This means that you can easily get popular mounts like PL and EF on the FX6 with a cheap adapter like the Sigma MC11. It's also your box standard E-mount, not a locking one like the one on the FX9 or Venice cameras. This means it's not quite as secure with larger lenses, but for owner operators, I do think that the regular style mount is easier to use when operating it by yourself. The FX6 is just a great camera to use. It's incredibly easy and fast to use, which is great for run and gun scenarios as well as more controlled situations where you need to get coverage quickly and effectively. The overall design of the camera is great. The top handle and side grip are some of the best on the market still, and even without any extra rigging or modifications, the FX6 is great to use straight out of the box. The body is so insanely light that it makes shooting with all day a breeze, and for the position that I prefer to shoot with cameras handheld in run and gun situations, the FX6 is pretty much perfect. It's also very versatile, as you can easily strip it down for use on a gimbal and then rig it up for more cine, broadcast and studio workflows. It's a camera that can really adapt to a lot of different work, which is why it's become such a staple here in the UK for so many productions and operators. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, and if you want to buy anything you see in this video or any other filmmaking or photography gear, head over to cvp.com, where we ship worldwide and can now be viewed in a range of languages and currencies. So with the FX6 being as old as it is now, a lot of people were wondering what Sony's follow-up to the FX6 could be. Well, I've mentioned a few things throughout the video, but there are some other specific things that I personally would like to see. Sony have shown that image stabilization is possible in these cameras with the Burano, which uses E-mount and their electronic ND system. So I think, given the kind of work that the FX6 is used for mainly, this would be a logical addition to it. The internal recording options of the FX6 are already pretty good, but I think given the recent updates we've seen from Canon and Blackmagic, I think Sony adding a light compressed RAW option would make a lot of sense as well. The FX6 already has a good range of frame rate options, but again, it would be great to see an upgrade here as well. It would also be good to have Genlock, a full-size Ethernet, and I would love to see a new range of accessories using the port on the top of the camera for things such as an audio solution when the top handle isn't being used, or maybe even an EVF solution. The audio options and solutions for the FX6 are already pretty good, but I would love to see Sony push the industry forward by adding 32-bit float recording into their cameras. This would be such a great addition to any camera. The included LCD monitor could also see a few improvements, such as a higher resolution and brighter panel, maybe a change from their proprietary connector to USB-C, and an improved, more robust hinge to handle a loop being used with it. Of course, this is just my wish list, so let us know in the comments what you'd want to see Sony add or change in the next FX6. Since recording this piece to camera, Blackmagic have actually announced some pretty big news for the FX6 and FX9, which is that soon these cameras will have the ability to record external Blackmagic RAW with Blackmagic's Video Assist 12G HDR range. Both of these cameras have the ability to output ProRes RAW already, but as ProRes RAW can't be used in Resolve, it's not quite as popular as I think B-RAW will be. Blackmagic RAW is an excellent format to use in post. It has great quality, flexibility and playback. There's no specific release date for this yet, just soon. But I think for some people this is an exciting announcement and could breathe some new life into their FX6. Fingers crossed we see the A7S III and FX3 get this update too, as I think that this would be a great pairing with them as well. Even this many years after release, the FX6 is still selling very well for us. And that's because it's become the standard for so many different productions, filmmakers and broadcasters. With the introduction of cameras like the Canon C80 and Blackmagic Pixis and whatever comes next, it's definitely going to have some competition coming up though. However, they all have different pros and cons, and it really comes down to what camera you prefer to use and what lenses you are invested into. So if you want some advice on what camera may be best for you, please get in touch with us or even book a demo at our central London showroom, where you can go through all of the different cameras and all the relevant accessories with one of our in-house technical consultants on hand to make your rig tailored exactly to your needs. Anyway, let us know what you think of the Sony FX6, or if you have any further questions down in the comments below. And if you like the video, please give it a like and maybe consider subscribing so you don't miss out on our awesome upcoming content. And thank you so much for watching.